for human affairs are perfect. They are like some kind of a perfect clock, and it isn't. And it isn't. I might go out there and start a movement to house the homeless people in my area, and I might work day and night for it. I might rally other people to help, collect clothing from stores, and get help from churches to open their basements or mosques or synagogues. So I might do this. I might go to the pharmacies and get some medicine, go to the stores, get some soap and food, and do all this work. And in the end, nothing comes of it. Does that mean that all my that there was no love involved in there? Does that mean all the people who spent these sleepless nights and so forth and so on, does that mean these people are not loving? And that, I don't think we could agree with you. Now, if human affairs were perfect, they were like a clock, that everything you do this, you get this, then I would agree with you. Sure, we could judge by consequences. But it isn't like that in this world. But I myself, of course, I would tend to disagree with that. That all that we do in our human affairs is purely mechanistic actions and reactions, in the same way that a clock just ticks and ticks and ticks and ticks until it runs out of winding and then it stops. I don't think we are like that. We are in much that is physical, but I think beyond that there is a ghost in the machine, a deus ex machina, as they say. There is something else. I'm not saying a ghost or a spirit or a homunculus, I think is the philosophical term for it. If I can spell it right. Homunculus, this little being inside of this machine called the human body that runs the show. I don't subscribe to any single one of those perspectives, but that there is something beyond that, something that is capable of this thing called love. Now, the reason there must be, in fact, if anything, actually, probably the best proof for this higher dimension of human life, of the human heart, of the human mind, is the very topic of the room, love. Because love contradicts all these mechanistic definitions of the world. Love is, even in Big's definition, which is purely physical, in the sense that, of course, he's talking about consequences, actions. Even in that definition, the actions and consequences of this love are not selfish. They are not survivalist. They seem to make no sense from that political view of human affairs, that survivalist view of the world, selfish view of human life, that I must do that which is always better for me. Love actually contradicts that. Love says exactly the opposite, if we can agree on the definition. And that is the love, in Big's definition, mine, and others we have cited in here. Love is exactly opposite. It is to look for what is best for the other person, not even you. Not only that, even beyond that definition, we have so far, if I can restate what everyone is thinking, we have so far agreed that love is not only to look for what is good for the other, but to do good to others even when it might harm yourself. And that clearly speaks against a mechanistic view of the world, against that everyone at some point has to understand that you needing another person is not part of loving that person. It has absolutely nothing to do with it. Not only that, most of the time it is detrimental to the love. Most of the time it is exactly what stops you from doing right by that person. A husband might need his wife and therefore not give her the freedom to grow, to learn, to step away, or even when required to divorce him. And same goes for the wife. And he might think that this is love, but this is not really love. Love is being able to think, to intend, to actually resolve things objectively in one's mind as to exactly what does the other person need at this time that I can provide for that person regardless of what I need. Now that's a lot of words for a definition, and so therefore it is likely to be misunderstood. And that's what all this misguided stuff that's going on out there in the world. People don't really know what they're doing. They got all their emotions confused, their own needs mixed in with what they think is love, and mixed in with the animalistic attachment, and mixed in with what you mentioned, the Pavlovian learned behavior. They got all this stuff mixed in there, and they can't distinguish the treasure which is hidden in there. The true love, the one that is really, really love, not this other stuff, these erroneous suspects that they've been looking for. And so therefore there must be intention to love according to the true definition of love. And that intention to love is, well, it is part of love because it itself leads to something good for the other person. In fact, you cannot in fact have love according to this definition without that intention. That intent, I intend to do right by this person. Definition. This is not some animalistic attachment. It cannot be Pavlovian because it includes thinking. It includes reasoning as opposed to automatic action-reaction or stimulus-response behavior, as you mentioned it, and as you well, of course, clarified it for the audience here. So again, to recap these complicated issues, all this chaff around the treasure, is that love needs, of course, some thinking. It needs some knowing. It needs consciousness. Again, automatic behavior. Love is a volition. It is not automatic. It is a thought-out process that, of course, should or must lead to an action, but not always. Not always. In fact, it could very well be that in some loves, most of the love, or 90% of it, is purely thinking about the action, and only 10% is final action. The action might be so much as one word, but you've had to think about it for 3 days to say that one word to the person you love. But it was the right word. It was the best word. It was the perfect word at the right time for the right person at the right place, and it did the job. But then if you say, well, this word was love, well, what happened to all the work that went into it? Because then it's not much love compared to maybe someone who, gave you a speech for 3 days, but it really, nothing came of it. So no, the intention and the process that goes on, the conscious process that goes on in the mind, is part of loving. We take some saintly person and put him in a jail cell, lock them up, with nothing in there whatsoever. Is this person capable of love? Have we shackled this person so that they cannot love? And in Big's definition, it would seem like, and he's not here to answer, so he's going to have to answer that himself, but have we now shackled love? Is it that easy to disable true love? And I don't believe so. I don't think so. It cannot be. It wouldn't be. If it's something that frail, that easy to get rid of, it cannot be that strong and that universal. See, I think even a person in a jail cell, in the worst jail cell, can be a loving person, and that love can show. That light will shine. If nothing else, to the warden or his guard. If nothing else, just keeping his cell clean. If nothing else, by not complaining and whining all the time, by being patient, by being of perfect character.